Okay, hello everyone. We recently got these two trailmaster hurricanes, and I figured, well, since there's I think maybe one or two YouTube channels out there that actually cover these things, I would go ahead and try and do it myself. So once you've assembled it, this is pretty much what you got. It comes in these freaking crazy armored cages that are covered by cardboard, as expected. Now, mine over here, I've simply removed all the stickers because I think it looks better that way. It looks cleaner. Now, a few things that should be known before you start riding these things. Change the oil, because the oil in these is kind of this crappy Chinese oil. It's really meant more for shipping than anything. And according to many people, it's actually advised that for best results, you can actually use a break-in oil, which, you can get from like Valvoline or pretty much any of the other oil companies. And then after that, you'd want to grab a better oil than high performance, heavy duty, or racing oils are preferred by many people on these. So it just makes an already reasonably reliable engine even more reliable. You should actually, if this chain here is too tight, you should adjust it, which this one is slightly too tight, but not horrible. If you can't move that chain at all, you should be adjusting it almost like immediately. I'm not going to cover that because, that'd make the video probably longer. But there's plenty of guides on it. You actually look up the guides for a mb200 because those are, they're pretty much the same thing in regards to that. Anyway, feature set is nice, interesting. Just like the mb200, it comes with a torque converter. It's got the same Jangdong engine. Got pretty much the same shocks. I think the rear sprocket may have been changed, but other than that, it's pretty much the same, except you get front disc brakes, which, truth be told, if you want to save a little money and essentially have a Hurricane later, you just buy the Trailmaster mb200 and you put the front disc brake kit on it. Because that's kind of what this is just a Trailmaster mb200 with a front disc brake. I think there are other minor tweaks, but nothing really as significant as that brake. And conveniently enough, the price kind of works out. Because if you were to buy a mb200 and the front disc brake kit together, they'd be essentially the same. Like, they'd be the same price. If you like doing the stuff yourself and you want to save a little bit, like $100 or so bucks at first, then you can just do that. Otherwise, you can grab the Hurricane. It's it's all reasonably priced, and since it is basically an mb200, it is kind of the best mini bike you can get. And I even hesitate to call it a mini bike, because this thing is actually quite large. It's actually less than a foot shorter than a dirt bike over there, so it's quite a hefty deal. Now, as far as performance goes, there's kind of mixed reports on that, because the manufacturer rates it lower than than what people experience. Quite, they rate it a lot lower. Some people, pretty much stock, have been reporting that this thing can get up to around 40 to 45, depending on the rider's weight. And of course, literally everybody who actually, looks into these things will loosen this, there's this throttle screw in there. Come on, camera, focus. Oh, well, that was a weird flash, but yeah, there's the throttle screw down in there. You just loosen that outwards. That lets the throttle actually, move all the way. Because there's a bracket back there that you can see moving that touches the end of that bolt. And if you loosen that out, you actually get all your throttle travel. Which is still safe to do, by the way, because these engines have a governor. Which, to be brutally honest, you could look into many modifications for these things. On Go Power Sports especially, because they have everything for these. Now, one big advertising point, actually, was that not only do these have a full suspension front and rear, but they've also been considered very custom friendly, because there is a lot of room for activities in there. There's even, more room down in there, in which you can run, exhaust pipes, air filters, battery boxes. Which makes it a pretty versatile bike, honestly. It's honestly probably the best built mini bike I've ever seen. It's even really braced up right there. It's got a pretty robust foot peg assembly. And it has front and rear pegs that, they can fold up and down. Yep, same with these boys. They fold in. I will say, though, now, this will be different for everybody, but I am 5'5" and around maybe 175, 180 pounds. And sitting on here at the moment, with the chain's current tension and stock suspension, the bike barely goes down. There is one little issue where the torque converter is partially in the way. Just partially. It's not a problem if you have your heel up there, but if you're a rider that likes more of the center, it's going to cause a little bit of issue. But the other foot peg is, perfectly free. There's no problem. The center pegs are actually they're pretty easy to get at. But it's all rider preference at the moment. Now, aside from engine mods, popular mods for these are these rear shocks. once you start riding them, people tend to find them soft, so they'll go ahead and upgrade those to the 12-inch variety found on Go Power Sports. And many people actually go ahead and replace this fake tank with a real one, as well as LED headlights and many other cool things, honestly. These bikes are very well built and modular. Now, something to look out for, actually, is if you do receive yours, and if you sit down on it and get back up and the forks don't come back up to full height after you're off it, you should actually go contact support from wherever you bought it. And if it's Go Power Sports, then they'll probably send you a replacement pretty easy. So I think that's it for this overview. I am not great at this stuff at the moment, so hopefully that is good enough.